Hello there, fellow photographers. Welcome to the very first edition of Xiaomi's Photography Master Class, where we dive deep into the beautiful world of photography and covering the basics as well as tips and techniques to level up your photography game. As many of our fans have requested time and again to cover the important basics as well as tip and tricks in a video format, here we are. I'm Sandeep Sharma, and today I'm going to show you how to see things in a new light and also how you can leverage some of these techniques not just to capture incredible looking photos with your new 14 series smartphones, but also to improve your overall photography game. One of the biggest challenges that most people face is how do you shoot a subject when it is in motion? What are the basics that we need to follow, and what settings do I need to have in order to shoot this without any motion blur? Do I shoot in regular mode or do I shoot in pro mode? And loads of questions, and we have all the answers for you today. Today we're going to delve into the intricate world of capturing motion as well as freezing motion or freezing moments and creating stunning effects through the manipulation that our smartphone's camera shutter allows. Yes, today I'm going to talk about shutter speed and the important role it plays in creating stories. So grab your smartphone because we are about to unravel secrets behind capturing stunning shots with precision and timing. Let's focus on shutter speed and why it matters and how you can control them and influence your results. So let's begin with the understanding that you need to have about shutter speed. Shutter speed is like the gatekeeper of light. When you press that shutter button, the shutter opens up to let light hit the camera sensor or film, and it's like the blink of an eye for your camera. Now, the speed at which this gate, that is the shutter, opens and closes determines how long the light is allowed to come in and hit the sensor. This is measured in seconds or fractions of a second. So when you hear numbers like 1 by 1000 or 1 by 30, that's your camera telling you how long the shutter remains open for. Well, in the realm of smartphone photography, they employ an electronic shutter mechanism to regulate the duration of light exposure on the sensor. Imagine this sequence: light filtering through the lens, the shutter opening and closing during the interval, and that's when the sensor captures all the visual data and the light. Let's begin into quantifying shutter speeds. The first example of a shutter speed is a fast one. A fast shutter speed typically means a number which is in the range of 1 by 500th of a second or even faster, and this is ideal for freezing fast moving subjects. When you look upon this vibrant colorful picture, you're immediately drawn into its lively scene. Captured with a very high shutter speed of around 1 by 2000th of a second, it freezes the moment of celebration with remarkable precision, and the sheer action and joy are elegantly encapsulated, rendering each and every detail with end-to-end sharpness and clarity. Let's take a look at this other shot, the macro shot of a bee on a flower. What really stands out to me is how incredibly sharp and clear it turned out, and that's thanks to using a high shutter speed of around 1 by 231 seconds. Now this is amazing to see how a high shutter speed is used to avoid any blur or shake, capturing all the tiny details perfectly well. The next image, where you have a field of orange tulip flowers with just a hint of green and blues, creates a stunning landscape. And what really makes the image pop is the high shutter speed that we used, which ensures that everything is looking sharp, vibrant and crisp because the wind was hitting the flowers and you would have gotten a bit of motion blur otherwise. We had to crank up that shutter speed because it was pretty windy, like I mentioned, and we did not really want to see any motion blur at all. In all of these scenarios, what you will notice is that the subject was fast moving. And so in order to capture the subject without any motion and to freeze it in motion, we had to use a higher shutter speed in order to freeze it perfectly still. This way we get all the details of the subject in perfect focus as well as all the details, making sure they really stand out. Let's move on to moderate shutter speeds, which range from 1 by 30th of a second to 1 by 125 of a second. Here we see a balance between freezing motion as well as capturing a bit of motion blur. And one challenge for most smartphones is the fact that this is difficult to capture, especially when there's no stabilization. Luckily, this image was captured on a Xiaomi 13 Pro, and even in fact our new Xiaomi 14 series devices have optically stabilized lenses as well as cameras, ensuring you can capture this even handheld. Now these pictures of flowing water are captured with a moderate shutter speed, and these are creating a silky smooth effect, and you can notice how the water appears smooth and ethereal, adding a sense of tranquility to the entire scene. Now let's talk about the magic of slower shutter speeds. When we dive into the realm of 1 by 15 seconds or even slower, we are venturing into a world of intentional motion blur where we truly inspire and flourish in terms of creativity. Let me tell you about this incredible shot which was taken by setting a slow shutter speed of around 3.2 seconds. Now to capture the mesmerizing aurora lights, this was needed, and it was such a magical experience watching the colors across the sky and capturing the moment in a picture that was truly unforgettable. The blend of vibrant greens and blues in the image turned out to be absolutely stunning, especially thanks to the capabilities of our Xiaomi Leica system. It's moments like these that make photography so thrilling and rewarding. The next scene where you see a cityscape at night, the mesmerizing light reflection on water caused by houses transform the urban landscape into a canvas of dynamic motion. Now let's dive into some of the creative ways through which we can capture stunning images by using shutter speed more creatively. Let's take a look at street photography, where you're required to use fast shutter speed to capture the bustling energy of a city street or a crowded market. Consider the same scenario where you're using a slower shutter speed, allowing the shutter to open for a slightly longer duration, where you are intentionally able to capture motion blur. The movement of people and the vehicles blur together, creating a mesmerizing sense of activity and liveliness in your shot, which adds more drama and dynamism to your shot. It's like freezing a moment in time while still conveying the hustle and bustle of the scene. Let's talk about light painting as well. Who here has ever experimented with light painting? I'm sure a lot of us have tried to capture moments where we drew in the air with a light source, and for light painting, we have to take the help of a long exposure, where we use intentionally slow shutter speeds like 1 by 10th of a second, 5 seconds, 30 seconds, and so on. With long exposure photography, you can turn darkness into your canvas by combining a prolonged shutter speed with controlled light sources. You can literally paint images in your night sky. Talking about light painting, this picture is truly an amazing one. Abhishek and Manish are positioned on either side of the car, each holding a light stick, and I decided to experiment a bit and set a low shutter speed. When I clicked the shutter, these guys started moving around the car, creating this incredible light painting effect. It was such a cool experience, and you can see for it in the end result itself. Like these, you can also create lots of abstract arts and patterns, and you can explore a lot more through painting with light and letting your imagination run wild to create something unique each and every time. With the right technique, you can transform the ordinary into the extraordinary, creating stunning works of art that dazzle the eye and ignite the imagination. Lastly, let's also venture a bit into the realm of astrophotography. Who here has ever gazed up at the night sky in awe? I'm sure we all have. With long exposure photography, you can also capture breathtaking beauty of the cosmos in ways that will leave your viewers speechless. You're out in the wilderness, far away from city lights, with your smartphones pointed towards the heaven. With a long exposure, you can reveal the intricate pattern of stars, capturing stunning images that showcase the majesty of the universe. So there you have it, folks. Motion blur, light painting, astrophotography. These are just few of the creative ways that you can use shutter speed to elevate your photography and unleash your creativity. Now grab your smartphones and let's go ahead and make some magic. Now shutter speed isn't just a technical aspect of photography, it's a tool that allows you to freeze time, capture motion, and unleash your creativity. But remember, it's crucial to note that your smartphone movement plays an equally pivotal role. Your chosen shutter speed must match adequately and counteract any such movement. Proper hand-holding technique is crucial, especially when shooting without a tripod, so support the smartphone properly, gently touch the controls and shutter button to minimize shakes. So experiment with all this and discover endless possibilities, and if you have any one of these new Xiaomi 14 series devices, you're going to get incredible looking results. Be sure to share this with us by tagging us on our handles across all social media and use the hashtag Xiaomi 14 series and hashtag Xiaomi behind the lens in order to tell us more about your interesting stories and different photography journeys as well. See you again in the next one.
Xiaomi